What is happening, Magnusites? So, he's going to reveal the Batman's only flaw. This should be interesting. Film theory, the Batman's fatal flaw. This should be interesting. I assume he's talking about the movie or the Batman in this movie. So let's check this out. Film theory has been one of my favorites for a very, very long time. Been doing this almost 11 years in March. So let's get it. Let's check this out.
February 18th, 2023. I finally cracked it. These creatives with their comic books making movies have zero respect for the science of style. No matter how realistic they want their movies to be, they don't consider the realistic consequences of the actions of their antics. And now I have proof. Proof that Batman should be dead, and the reasoning is explosive.
Man, he should have been dead a long time ago. As a matter of fact, I remember reading an article that was talking about, well, first of all, there's a book out there talking about becoming Batman or how to become Batman. I should get that. Definitely check it out. Let me see if it's on audio. Let me see if it's on Audible. I love listening to audiobooks. But, let me see here. How to become Batman. But, I read something that was like, talking about his workout, like in the comics. Like, his workout would kill you. Like, you just can't be him. He's, an ideal. Like Superman is in a different way. It's like, there's no way you could do what he does and get away with it, and just everything that he goes through, the precision that is needed to stay alive with all the things he's been through it's pretty much impossible. You'd have to have the supernatural looking out for you. All right, let's continue.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory, the Batsuit. Loyal theorists, there have been a lot of Batsuits on film over the years. We've had spandex suits, rubber masks, military-grade spelunking gear, comic-accurate capes and cowls, and even bat nipples for some reason. But I think my favorite incarnation of the suit so far has to be the realistic version that we see in director Matt Reeves' The Batman. See, this suit looks like the stuff that...
My favorite is still Batflex. This might be second, though.
This Bruce Wayne could have realistically found and cobbled together himself, and it really followed the vibe that was set by the rest of this version of the Caped Crusader. The Batman follows the tried and tested formula of Bat films that we've seen over the years. Bruce Wayne's parents are killed in front of him, turning him into an edgelord cosplayer who takes out his frustrations on the superstitious, cowardly lot that is the criminal underworld of Gotham City. But this go around, things are a lot more grounded. While Christopher Nolan's Batman was a suave globetrotter with unlimited resources, and Zack Snyder's Batman was a murderous psychopath with an exoskeleton mech, on the surface level, this Batman seems a lot more realistic. He wears combat boots that he probably picked up from the local army surplus store. He drives a muscle car Batmobile that he clearly modified himself. He listens to Nirvana while journaling about his feelings. The film even embraces the idea of cycles of violence, with Batman being the inspiration for a lot of the lunatics that he's trying to stop, which sometimes gets just a wee bit too real. Matt Reeves and the other filmmakers involved in The Batman clearly put a lot of time, effort, and energy into making this the most practical, realistic, and down-to-earth iteration of the character that we've ever seen on film, which is why it's so weird for me that the Battinson shrugs off bullets with such alarming regularity. At one point, he even takes a shotgun blast point-blank to the chest before smooching Catwoman, dusting himself off, and beating the poop out of the guy who shot him. Seriously, for as grounded as this take...
I was like, what, a shot of adrenaline or something he took? But yeah, I was thinking about that too. It was like certain ways that he took those shots in the movie. I was just like, of course you let it go because it was badass, but it's like,
Hero might seem on the outside, the Batman has bullets bouncing off of the Batsuit more than Superman's chest. That just didn't sit right with me. Are billionaires suddenly reality benders now?
That's funny because I mentioned that in my in one of my reactions, I was like, yo, the way he's walking through those bullets in that one shot in that trailer, it's like how in the Return of Superman Returns, how he flew in and he was just walking forward with the minigun. Just, I was like, yo, that really reminded me of that. And I was just like, no way, but the cool as hell this movie, so yeah.
Your superpowers again?
I'm rich.
Well, not exactly. You see, loyal theorists, even if Batman had the best body armor in the world, his ability of affluence wouldn't have let him limp away from the events of this movie. And not for the reasons that you might think. I don't even have to go into that ridiculous scene where he face plants into a bridge going like 45 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Nope, the reason that Batman would be dead is a lot softer than that. So
I was hoping that he would have stuck the landing with that. I know he's new. How long has he been doing it in this? Was it like a year? I was hoping he would have stuck the landing and not got all hurt like that with that, but it was still a cool scene.
put on your super suits and stand broodingly in the rain there, loyal theorists. Let's dive in. So let's just start off by looking at how exactly bulletproof armor works. See, bullets are deadly because they concentrate an enormous amount of force onto a small surface area, allowing bullets to tear through almost anything that they hit. Bulletproof armor works by taking the force of that bullet and then spreading it out over a larger surface area, preventing it from penetrating your body and wreaking havoc on your internal organs. Don't get me wrong, it's still gonna hurt, leaving you winded and bruised, but it makes it substantially more likely that you'll be able to survive getting shot. We've actually touched on this subject before in my game theory discussing whether or not you should bring a knife to a gunfight.
You know what's funny? I wonder if he's gonna mention this. As soon as he said something about that, I was like, I saw something when they were talking about body armor, and they were talking about how like knives can be much more dangerous than bullets when it comes to body armor, dealing with body armor, because they can cut through it. Actually, I was just like, wait, what? Like I was like, I didn't know that. I figured if it could stop a bullet, it could stop a knife, but it's the way a knife works versus how a bullet works.
And we found that bulletproof isn't exactly the right phrase. Bullet-resistant is more accurate. In pop culture, the most commonly cited type of this sort of bullet-resistant armor is known as Kevlar, which actually isn't what you probably expect it to be when you hear the word armor. The stuff isn't some sort of metal or anything like that. It's actually a bunch of synthetic fibers interwoven together, which makes it really good at dispersing the force of bullets as they strike the Kevlar. Yeah, you heard that right. Kevlar is technically a fabric. Fun fact, Kevlar was originally developed by the DuPont company, who were also the minds behind another superhero staple, spandex. We actually talk about exactly that and a whole lot more in our episode about Hulk's pants, a new episode over on Style Theory. So go check it out.
Check that out.
Shameless plug. Anyway, most of the guns that are used by Falcone's goons and the Riddler's henchmen were either pistols or submachine guns that fired 9mm rounds, which Kevlar would do a pretty good job at stopping. But here's the thing, that's talking about firing from a distance. When fired at point-blank range, like we see quite a bit during the Batman, Kevlar doesn't do the best job of stopping the bullets. Depending on where they hit the armor, some bullets would have a good chance at breaking through and entering the body.
But isn't he wearing metal, too? It looks like he's wearing metal, so wouldn't that help if you've got a layer of Kevlar? Maybe a layer of metal, a layer of Kevlar, a layer of metal, I don't know.
That's not even mentioning that some of the bad guys use bigger guns with more powerful bullets, especially during the finale fight above Gotham Square Garden. Here, we can clearly see Batman getting hit with bullets fired by M16 and Winchester rifles, which both shoot 5.56 NATO rounds. And remember, Kevlar isn't bulletproof, just bullet resistant. And 5.56 rounds fired by those rifles would absolutely be able to break through it, no problem. Thankfully for Batman, though, Kevlar isn't the strongest type of body armor out there. It's actually considered a soft body armor, which you can clearly see here in this video by Tel Feldermaus. Notice how it basically folds around the bullets to stop them? It almost looks like it's catching the bullets, right? Given the fact that we don't see anything like this happen when Batman gets shot in the film, instead the bullets just bounce off of him with sparks, clearly he's wearing some sort of hard body armor. According to the National Institute of Justice, there are 5 different categories of body armor used in modern times. These include level 2A, level 2, level 3A, level 3, and level 4. Just in case you're wondering, level 1 body armor does exist, but it's no longer considered acceptable by the NIJ. Also, those A classifications just get shoved between existing classes when an armor doesn't quite fit into one of the categories. The 2A through 3A levels are all soft armors, with Kevlar ranking somewhere right in the middle there. It means that Kevlar is actually on the weaker side of modern body armor, believe it or not. That might come as a surprise to you if you've ever heard that Kevlar is stronger than steel, and yeah, I mean, that's still true, that just doesn't paint you a complete picture. Kevlar is indeed up to 5 times stronger than steel if you compare their strength to weight ratio. Basically, Admittedly, steel armor that weighs the same as a Kevlar vest won't be offering that much protection, but that doesn't mean that steel can't stop bullets if you're willing to wear a full suit of armor out into the field. The YouTube channel Demolition Ranch actually did a test to show just how effective steel armor can be at stopping bullets.
Stop there. That was a good one.
But steel isn't even the best option for plate armor nowadays. We are long past the Middle Ages after all, and Batman has himself the entire R&D department of Wayne Enterprises at his fingertips. These days, the highest NIJ rated armor consists of several solid plates, usually made from some sort of ceramic composite, something that is literally harder than the bullets that are being fired at it. According to the NIJ, the strongest level 4 armor is able to withstand armor-piercing rounds, quote, obtained from U.S. military M2 AP ammunition. If none of that means anything to you, which why would it? We are talking about some seriously heavy firepower. This stuff can penetrate 3/4 inches of steel with no issue. Those ceramic plates are going to be able to stop the weaker 9mm and 5.56 ammo shot by most of Riddler's and Falcone's goons, no problem. Honestly, these plates aren't even that expensive by Batman standards. I was able to find commercially available military-grade 9.5 inch by 12.5 inch level 4 armor plating for just around $600 per plate. And given Bruce Wayne's resources, it's even feasible that the parts of the Batsuit that needed to be flexible and aren't armor-plated could be made from Kevlar. So this super suit of armor might actually be legit. It would also probably be able to stop that point-blank shotgun blast that briefly winded Batman during the finale fight. YouTuber Paul Harrell tested common shotgun pellet projectiles against level 3A soft body armor, which is weaker than the ceramic plates, and things went really well despite multiple direct hits.
Now remember, this vest has already been shot with 9 pellets, so it was compromised before we ever taped it to this log. But it got hit with the second 9 pellets and stopped every one of them.
Even when testing much heavier slug projectiles, the heavily compromised level 3A vest was able to stop the bullet, even though a great deal of concussive force was able to get through. That force would have been lessened had this been level 4 armor like Batman's wearing, probably saving his life even if he got knocked to his butt, which perfectly lines up with what we see in the movie. Batman gets hit by the shotgun, and though the armor stops the projectile, he flies backwards from the concussive force. So, is that it? The Batman's armor is legit? Does all of this prove that Bruce Wayne could have put on this bat suit and had all those cool fight scenes in dark hallways and come out on the other end with only a few bruises to show for it all? Well, not exactly, loyal theorists, because bullets bouncing off his armor isn't the only life-threatening situation that Bruce Wayne finds himself in.
Well, and also absorbing that, you know what I mean? You can get shot and then, be wearing a vest and be bruised underneath and you crack a rib. That happened to my uncle. He was a state trooper, and he actually busted some guys that were drug dealers in a house. And when he got in there, he hesitated because one of them looked like his son, actually. And that kid actually shot him, and he shot back, and he actually took the kid out. But it hit him in the ribs, and it cracked his ribs. So, you can get a lot of injuries from, even if you're wearing body armor.
The Batman. During one of the most tense scenes in the film, the Riddler straps an explosive
that
collar
one's
up
crazy.
the district attorney's neck in an attempt to get him to confess who's at the root of the government's corruption. Batman, both trying to save the DA's life and get himself the same information, stands real close so he can get the whole gravelly whisper shtick instead of just talking like a normal person. Of course, because we're only about halfway through the movie at this point and we can't solve the mystery yet, the DA refuses to give a name and the bomb goes off, throwing Batman across the room and knocking him unconscious. This absolutely stretches the edge of believability in a lot of ways. But the most obvious one, given that we just deduced that the Batsuit is level 4 plated armor, this scene and the explosion would have 100% killed Batman. See, explosive ordnance disposal suits, or just bomb suits for short, are very complicated pieces of clothing. Up until the mid-1990s, they were actually made of Kevlar with armor plating, all in an effort to stop shrapnel from killing the bomb technicians. But that type of armor didn't provide protection against the blast waves. In the unfortunate situation where an explosive actually went off, they produced shock waves that ripped through the bodies of the people that were trying to defuse them. So even if there was no injury from shrapnel, the lungs and other internal organs of the person would be wounded. Oftentimes, these wounds were fatal. This was actually such a huge deal at the time and happened so frequently that these sorts of injuries earned themselves the nickname blast lung. Researchers found that Kevlar and armor plating by themselves just couldn't offer enough protection, but when they were layered with both a high and low density...
I was going to say, that's why I've seen, bomb squad guys, they'll walk in waddling with these big padded suits, I think I've seen. similar to what I've seen with them with attack dogs, but it's like something else. I swore I've seen something like that.
The acoustic foam, suddenly the people in the suits were far more likely to survive the blast.
Yeah, there it is.
Because of this,
Something like
modern
that.
bomb suits are made not only from Kevlar and ballistic plating like we see with Batman's suit, but also several layers of both high and low density protective foam. That's partially what gives the bomb suit that iconic bulky look, which the Batman lacks with its thinner, sleeker silhouette. And all of this is without even mentioning the bomb suit helmets, which have themselves giant thick visors made from fully laminated acrylic and polycarbonate to protect from shrapnel entering the face. In short, there's just no way that the Batsuit in the movie has the protective layering required to survive a point-blank explosion, especially when Battinson's lower face is completely uncovered. In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, even with this super strong, basically bulletproof suit of armor, you would think that Bruce Wayne would be smart enough to cover his entire face if he's expecting to be shot at all the time. Between that and approaching an active armed bomb without any sort of bomb suit, yeah, I'd say that this Bruce Wayne has himself an active death wish.
Yeah.
Forget the Batman. Robert Pattinson is more accurately described as the dead man. Yeah. But hey, that's just a theory.
You should have said Splat Man, man.
Theory. And you know,
there you have it, folks. Yeah, that had fried his face and concussed everything inside of him. So, the Batman would have been dead. I remember when I saw that in the theater, I was like, nah. all that fire and everything. Like his face wasn't even singed. Good job as usual, Film Theory. I'll be sure to check out the new Style channel. Post comments down below. Let me know what you thought, though. If you enjoyed my reaction and thoughts to this, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Subscribe to Film Theory. And tell me what you think in the comments below. 10 million subscribers. Woo!